Welcome to AnglingBuzz presented by Fleet Farm. I'm Troy Lindner. We have an awesome show for you today. We're going to be talking about how to fine-tune your marine electronic skills. Now, today's modern fish finders, they have quite amazing technology. And when we look at the mapping features available, equally incredible. And today we have a variety of different professional anglers to share some insight into this subject. First up is James Lindner. He's going to talk about mapping. Now, James, how can the understanding of maps help us on the water?
If I had to focus on one piece of electronics equipment that really helps me find fish, it's my map. On my Helix 10, I actually have a map card in here that actually gives me 1 foot depth contours, and it's huge in the fact that I can actually change the map based on the time of the year I'm on the water. Right now I have my map set up where I have my shallow water highlight, which is the red, is at 5 foot. And then I have my other depth, this green depth highlight, anywhere from 7 to 12 foot of water. And so what that helps me do is to identify those large sunken islands, those large points that are 10 to 12 foot, the main depths where big weed beds are, and that'll help me initially find fish at this time of the year. No question about it, having a better understanding of your map will unquestionably help you catch more fish this summer.
Next up is Brian Brosdahl. He's going to be talking about 2D sonar. Now, 2D sonar, that's an older technology. Brian, do you still use that a lot today?
You know, I use all these different sonar depending on the situation. I still use 2D sonar a lot when I'm high-speed hunting. The big deal about 2D sonar is I can run around at 30 miles an hour to see bait fish. I can mark schools of fish, bottom composition, changes in cover like weeds, wood, rocks. If I had to identify 2D sonar's strong points, it works when you're moving fast. A lot of the time, sonar like side imaging, down imaging, forward viewing tend to work best when you're moving slow.
Thank you, Brian. And next up, Jeremy Smith. He's going to talk about side imaging. And Jeremy, how and when do you use side imaging?
One of the most important tools that I've found for fishing smallmouth bass in the spring is side imaging. It's an amazing tool to see how a lot of these flats are laid out. And that's where you find smallmouth in the spring, is primarily on flats, and they're near some of the best rock or bigger sized boulders that you can find on those flats. If you're driving around with 2D sonar, a lot of times your cone may miss where the biggest boulders are. They might not show up that great on your 2D, but in side imaging it just paints a beautiful picture of how that habitat is laid out. And if you've got that, you can narrow down the spots that are holding smallmouth much, much more quickly.
Thanks, Jeremy. And next up is Brad Hawthorne. He's going to be talking about forward-facing sonar. So Brad, what's your take on forward-facing sonar and specifically Hummingbird's Mega Live?
So live technology is something that I really cannot live without after having it and using it. But what I found for me personally is when I'm working and guiding, it actually allows me to point and shoot, where I'm like, yeah, fish, boom, 20 feet that way, cast and catch. And I'm using my forward view most of the time, just because that's the natural way I fish, where I'm constantly going forward. I know where the fish usually are, so I'm just trying to fine tune it and take my pole here and just simply point it until I find the fish, keep it on them, and then start firing casts to those fish to catch them. So there's really no wrong and right way to use live. The main thing to remember with live is use it how you're more effective. If you're more effective in forward mode, looking for fish like I'm doing, go for it, hone your skills that way. If you're more fluent in down viewing, where you get on fish with 2D or mega imaging and then come back and actually use your live to dial in and start extracting those fish and watching their reactions to your bait, so be it. There's no right and wrong. Personally, I like to forward view, get dialed in on those fish, use it to find the fish, extract the fish, and then use it to dial in on color. That's exactly how I use live, and it has really become an invaluable piece when I've been guiding.
Brad, thanks for your time and sharing some insight into this new technology. That forward-facing sonar is quite amazing for sure. Well, stay with us. After this short commercial break, we're going to talk about how to find shallow water walleyes with side imaging as Angling Buzz continues.
Developed from the latest technology, Blackfish Technical Apparel outperforms, so anglers have gear that they can trust in, no matter the conditions.
Marine Pro, from the makers of Seafoam Motor Treatment. Marine Pro is a complete marine fuel system treatment for all types of marine engines. Just pour it in. Marine Pro works to clean and lubricate your entire fuel system, helps engines start easier, run smoother, stabilizes fuel, and helps prevent costly boat engine problems. Fast starts and smooth running power have never been this easy. Seafoam Marine Pro, available at Fleet Farm.
The Deep V jig from Northland Tackle. Light 'em up with this proven performer. The Deep V sports a keel design that gets you down faster and straighter. It also features 3D eyes that, along with its unique colors and sizes, gives you the edge for when the bite gets tough. And the barbed wire keeper keeps your bait tight for more casts and more bites. The Deep V jig from Northland Tackle. We are walleye.
Looking for the perfect fishing vacation? Leech Lake, Minnesota. There's over 112,000 acres of water to explore, with fantastic walleye, bass, pike, panfish, and trophy muskies. The fishing opportunities are endless. Leech Lake has it all, with over 30 resorts, lodges, campgrounds, and hotels line its pristine shores. Plan your trip. It's Minnesota's original up-north vacation destination.
Welcome back to Angling Buzz, and up next, it's our Timely Topics feature. We're going to be looking at how to find shallow water walleye with side imaging.
I got a question for you. For you walleye fishermen, what would you consider to be shallow water? For many people, a lot of people would say maybe, 8 or 10 is shallow. Some people may by 10 to 12. Well, realistically, for a good portion of the year, actually, especially in early spring like we're out right now, walleyes can be in super, super skinny water. Today I'm fishing with my buddy here, Jake Wallace, and we're gonna look at strategies for catching walleyes from anywhere from 4 to maybe, we're talking on the deep side, about 7 foot. It should be an interesting activity. I know today's electronics has really sort of changed my mind on how to go about targeting these fish. See, those are all walleyes. It gives you really the confidence to go fish this shallow. How many of them are really there? You know, you could just drive across these flats and really identify. You can see all the coordinates that we just made one little run through here and just start IDing. I'm looking off 55 feet on both sides of the boat, and we're moving along on the shallow flat and just marking fish.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at all those fish.
That's a whole bunch of them.
All those are walleyes, and right here we got the drop. We're coming up on it. Look at all those fish.
Got him.
Nice.
Right where you see that? It's just amazing. It's just stunning.
It's right on the waypoint.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
It's just stunning on the way you can go find these fish. Right on the waypoint, we pulled back up, drove over the spot, laid down the waypoint, came back. You can see where my boat is. I cast it right to the waypoint, and we got a biggie to bite it. Ooh, this feels like a better one. Look at that.
Oh yeah, nice fish.
There you go. Come here, buddy. I know I want to put my, whoops, sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Good.
Come here. Come here. That's a better one. Come here. There you go.
There we go. Nice.
Okay. Come here. There's a pretty one. Look at that guy there. Beautiful fish. Well, we haven't been catching giants today. We've been catching quite a few of them, and it goes to show you on how shallow these fish can be. No question about it. Pretty fish. We'll get some more. Come here, buddy. Ooh. Yeah, you can actually see where my waypoint was, and you can see I'm actually set at 20-foot scale. That's 20 feet, so I was about 40 feet away from that waypoint. When we drove past it, I pitched right to it, and that fish bit. The interesting thing is a lot of these bites are actually coming from a distance away from the boat. We're casting out at, and they're hitting probably within the first 10 or 15 feet of the retrieve.
So one thing Jim and I have been playing around with today is our weight of our jigs we're using. So we've kind of found today that 1/8 size is kind of that sweet spot, but some days it might be that 1/4 ounce. You might go lighter with a 1/16 ounce. Why that matters is it's going to be the fall rate of your bait. So you'll have different actions and it'll trigger different fish. So just playing around with that will help you, kind of home in and figure out what these fish want. Another thing we've been doing, is playing around with color. So right here we've got big bites, suicide shad. Jim's got a few of those on. I've been rocking with the VMC bucktails. I was using neon chartreuse earlier. Now I'm going to go to black. I'm really seeing what those fish want, trying to match the hatch and keying on what those fish are eating.
The detail on side imaging is quite amazing. You can actually see those fish separated from the cover rocks, and if they're on sand flats, they stand out even more. Well, stay with us after the short commercial break. We have our Buzz Bite reports as Angling Buzz continues.
Like many of you, I've had back issues.
From the pounding waves of Lake Erie
to over 30 years of competitive angling.
And a lifetime on the water, but not anymore.
Smooth Moves changed the game.
It's a must-have for me and my clients.
It's like my boat is floating on air.
They're easy to install.
Fully adjustable.
It makes a day on the water a whole lot more comfortable.
Smooth your ride with Smooth Moves.
Simple, fast, and easy. This automatic launching and loading system on boat-to-trailer.com makes unloading and loading your boat a breeze on both roller or bunk trailer configurations. This system is a simple one-bolt install. No more hanging over the boat, no more cranking in the boat, and no more wet feet. Speed your boat ramp time by visiting boat-to-trailer.com.
What's going on, anglers, boys, girls, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen from everywhere? Your boy Jay Hugh coming through with another Buzz Bite report. Gotta talk to you for what's happening. Thank God, it's finally warm out. What a cool spring. Things have been a disaster. High water, rain, lots of wind. Finally got some bluebird skies, some nice calm temperatures, and fish are starting to react. It's been great. We've been catching a lot of panfish on perimeters using lightweight jigs with soft drops with live bait and or plastics. Can use a minnow, getting crappies and panfish as in bluegills alike. Walleyes, same thing, kind of getting them on the weeds, the edges. They're kind of off their typical spring spawning grounds and moving into some deeper stuff. So we're starting to flirt with the mid-lake humps and structure, stuff like that, but things are just transitioning to that now. Smallmouth, pike, kind of the same thing. Smallmouth, they're starting to get on their beds right now. We're gonna leave them alone, let them do their thing. In a little bit, we'll go after those as well. On the big lake, trout with spoons, flash or fly combos. Most guys are beach trout, so they're in about 50 feet of water on both the south shore and the north shore, getting a few salmon and some, to boot, they're getting some brown trout as well. So that's what we got going in the Northwoods, Duluth, Superior, Arrowhead region. Rock and roll, tight lines.
Thanks, Jared. Now let's head over to Lake Vermilion with Billy Rosner.
I was out today chasing some pike with some clients and did pretty well. Got them a couple different ways. We did some long line trolling, 40 to 50 feet of line out. The whole trick was using mono line like a number 12 with a titanium leader. I'm fishing shallow water, so that mono is really crucial in keeping those baits above the weeds a little bit. If you use braid, you're gonna go too deep. Pretty simple. Number 7 and 9 floating wraps, orange. The black and white worked well. Casting did well with the Terminator spinner baits. The Blue Fox spoon, I cut the treble off and put on like a 1/0 hook with a Kalen grub, and that worked really good also. For the long line trolling, I'm doing like 2.8 to 3 miles an hour with my big motor. At 4 to 6 foot is really key. Find that cabbage that's up off the bottom, 2 feet or so, holding a lot of pike in those areas. And then also you can cast those same areas, that's all working well too.
Thanks, Billy. Now let's head south to Leech Lake with Toby Cavalivog.
The water temps are now warming back up right now. Yesterday I had a trip, we caught fish pulling spinners, we caught fish with bobbers. We just had the Leech Lake Walleye Tournament where Chuck Hassey and Randy Topper finished on top of the board of 155 boats, and they were doing exactly what the fish want right now, and that's to get the bait away from the boat. And whether you're fishing the main lake rocks, which seem to be holding a lot of fish right now in that 14-foot range out to 18, where the mud transitions are and the bugs are starting to hatch. We have fish flies hatching right now, sand flies, and the mayflies are soon to follow. Getting baits away from the boat, 30 to 50 feet away from the boat, seem to be the key. Whether you're long line rigging, slip bobbering, pitching plastics, but that's the tactic. Fishing right below the boat. It just doesn't seem to be working as well. The muskies, I got a trip today. I'm going to do both. I'm going to do walleyes and muskies. The muskies are starting to push out to deeper water, but we're seeing them walleye fishing still. And we've had a few people catch muskies while doing so. So they're finishing spawn, still hanging out shallow, but they're starting to transfer out to deeper water. Again, water temps now are in the mid-60s in certain parts of the lake. Fishing's really good. Got to get out here, but keep that bait away from the boat. That's really key right now. Have fun. We'll see you out here on Leech Lake.
Thanks, Toby. Now let's head north to Manitoba with Jason Mitchell.
We're up in northern Manitoba here this week. In fact, we're out of Viking Lodge here on the Cranberry Lake system here today. These walleyes are in post spawn. I mean, water temps are in the high 40s, low 50s. It's been cold up here. Despite that, fish are biting. I mean, we've been fishing just classic walleye locations for early in the year, neck down areas where, mouths of where rivers are coming in, or just narrow areas where there's current, where these fish are passing back and forth. Just a jig and a salted shiner, jig and a minnow has been working well. There's been a few people pulling cranks slow and catching a few fish, but it's more or less just spot locking and just dangling that salted minnow right below the boat. We've been catching a lot of walleyes and a lot of nice walleyes. We've also been catching lake trout, as you can guess, because of the cold water temps. Lake trout have been less than 30 feet of water for the most part, so we've been catching some lake trout. We've been catching a few pike, but I'm guessing if the sun comes out and warms up a little bit, these pike will push up in these shallow bays and start to suntan, and so that should get good soon. But right now, it's the walleye and the lake trout that are keeping us busy.
Thanks, Jason. Now let's jump over to Saskatchewan with Tim Genny.
They're wondering if big walleye are biting in Saskatchewan. There's your answer. Lakes have warmed up. The fishing is great. We're fishing a tournament right now. Regina Beach Walleye Classic, slaying big walleye. We got to let this one go. We got 2 big ones in the live well already. So if you're looking for some great times on the water, fishing for some golden walleye, Saskatchewan's the place to be. Your northern lakes are firing up, central and southern, they're all on the go. And they're getting great big old walleye. Give her a try. Come visit us in Saskatchewan. This one go.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
In 2021, Minnesota watercraft inspectors found that 95% of boaters were doing their best to prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species. In short, drain plugs were removed, no standing water was inside the boat, and no zebra mussels or plants were found on the boat or trailer. Thanks for following these simple habit-forming rules. Clean aquatic plants and animals from boats, trailers, and equipment. Drain all water from motors and live wells. Remove all boat plugs and dispose of unused bait in the trash.
I'm not like you and my friend. You're not very much like you. By my side, I see things differently. You're my best friend, yes, my best friend. Rolling through this world together. You're my best friend, very best friend, very best friends forever and ever.
Lake Vermilion. Explore. Relax. Reconnect.
Minnesota's most beautiful lake.
Get hooked on our trophy walleye,
That's a beauty.
bass,
My favorite fish.
musky fish,
That's a beauty there.
Things to do? You'll never get bored.
Rooms with a view? We got 'em.
Lake Vermilion. 4 seasons of fun.
And now it's time for our cool products brought to you by Fleet Farm. We're going to start off with this Lakes and Rivers tackle bag. This is a great series from Fleet Farm. You can see this is just one of the options available. You can fit 4 different tackle boxes in here. This is great if you're a kayak angler, if you're hiking, or if you're just jumping in the boat with a friend to fish for a few hours. This is a perfect size. Lots of storage space. Nice, easy to carry handle from Lakes and Rivers. And up next from Northland Tackle, the Butterfly Blade series. They have a few different styles here. They have a floating harness, they have a regular harness, and you control these down to 0.25 miles per hour. Some great color options. I mean, this is perfect for summertime walleye fishing. And next from Big Bite Baits, the BFE Best Flipper Ever. This is a great bass fishing, specifically I'd say largemouth bass fishing, soft plastic. You have a lot of action on here. You can see the ring body. You can split the tail for even more action. You can fish this Carolina rig, Texas rig, and I've even fished this on a Tokyo rig with a lot of success from Big Bite Baits, the BFE. And next, a hard bait series from Rapala. This is the Scatter Wrap series. And what's nice about this, you see this unique lip design. So as you're casting it, flatline trolling it, it'll kick off to the side randomly. And many times that triggers fish to bite. This is great for walleye fishing, I would say #1. You can cast these and troll these, but for flatline trolling, this is a great option. Some nice UV colors, really nice patterns, the Scatter Wrap series from Rapala. Up next, a storage case for your memory cards. If you use GoPros, you can store your SD cards in there. And for your marine electronics, you can store your LakeMaster chips in there. This is from HME. This is a memory card storage case. This is anti-shock, dust-proof. You have a lot invested into these cards, so keep them nice and secure from HME, the memory card storage case. And up next from Humminbird, the Helix 12. Now this thing has everything. A big, bright display, mega side imaging, mega down imaging, the 4th generation of their imaging, as well as incredible detail in the sonar. It's also mega live compatible, mega 360 compatible, and also for your one boat network, you can connect everything all together with the Helix 12. And next from Seafoam, Seafoam's Deep Creep. Now this is great not only for home, but you can also use this in the garage, in your shop. It's a multi-purpose lubricant that helps loosen stubborn parts. It cleans and protects metal. It dries the moisture. It's just an all-around great product to have from Seafoam, Deep Creep. And next from St. Croix Rods, we want to talk about their Victory series. And this one is actually technique specific. This is a mid-cranker. I got a Rapala DT tied onto this. And great action, also a really great value in this Victory series. Stop in your local Fleet Farm store, also online at fleetfarm.com, and you'll see a wide range of options available in the Victory series from St. Croix. And next from Clam Outdoors, there are some new color options in the Fortis series. Now this comes in different sizes from panfish up to bass and walleye. These are a fantastic net to have. The handles extend out, they're engraved, and now they're also available in a few different color options, black, red, and blue. And lastly, the boat-to-trailer automatic launching and loading system. Now this thing is pretty awesome. I've used this firsthand. You can launch a boat, you just pull the handle, launches the boat, and when you're loading the boat, you just slide it up and it clips right in place. Our busy boat ramps during the summertime. This thing is a big time saver from boat-to-trailer.com. And right now you can save 30% off Blackfish UPF gear. Be sure to stop by your local Fleet Farm store, and you can always shop online anytime at fleetfarm.com. And right now it's time for our technique of the week.
Oh, it's not little. It's actually a really nice one. Big giant one, huh? Whoa, look at that. Big Magnum bluegills. Now, summertime pan fishing, it can be a trick when they're out in deeper water, right? You're often fishing with small baits, and it takes a long time to get down there. So the drop shot happens to be one of the most effective tools that there is for catching big bluegills like that. And I'll show you what the system looks like. Let me get this one back. Drop shot fishing is a really simple technique, and this is something that I use for when I'm taking people out that aren't really that familiar with fishing. It's one of the easiest presentations that you can use. It's not very technical. You don't have to set the hook, and it might seem overwhelming to try to figure out how to tie this rig, but it's really quite simple. And drop shot fishing isn't just finesse fishing either. We'll use big hooks like this with like 10-inch worms and creature baits for fishing largemouth bass and heavy cover. I might use this style hook right here, the Nico hook spin shot, for fishing walleyes with leeches over sandgrass. And right now we're using the original spin shot right here for fishing the bluegills. But really all you need is the hook, line, and a sinker. So there's a few different styles of sinkers. The two that I really prefer are one, the cylinder style sinker here, and two, the teardrop. Now these are both tungsten, but I like the tungsten because of the density. It really lets you know what's on the bottom, so you can feel those bottom composition changes really, really well. This teardrop is a good all-around versatile. It's got a lot of surface area to transmit the bottom. And then the cylinder style can be a little bit better for going through weeds. And then on the end of these rigs, all we have to do is tie our main line to the top loop, dropper line to the bottom loop. And in this case, bluegill fishing, we're just fishing with 6-pound fluorocarbon as a leader material, and we're tying that to the nano braid as a main line. So if you've got these, just a couple hook lines and sinkers, you can use any plastic you want, whether it's a minnow profile, a leech profile, a tube, or night crawlers, waxworms, leeches, you name it. It's an incredibly versatile system. Drop it down, hold it there, wait for a fish to bite, start reeling. Voila, you're a great fisherman.
With drop shots, they catch everything from panfish, even to really big fish in saltwater. And if you're an upper Midwest angler, we're talking about bass, walleye, crappie, bluegill, you name it, and you can catch it with a drop shot. And next week's show, we're going to be talking about must-have angling knowledge. And as always here on The Buzz, we want to help remind you to stop the spread of aquatic invasive species anytime you're leaving any body of water clean, drain, dry. Be sure to enter our sweepstakes. You can enter at fleetfarm.com and also your local Fleet Farm store for the chance to win an awesome weekend up on Lake Vermilion. You have a nice stay at one of the fantastic resorts up there, as well as a guided fishing trip. Well, thank you for joining us this week. I'm Troy Lindner, and we'll see you next time.